Hello and welcome, dear friends. Today we will see how we can decode facts about a native's education from his birth chart according to Bhrigu Nandi Nadi Astrology. If you have not subscribed to my channel, then please do subscribe. So friends, you can see one chart is here. Now, what can we say? This is the chart of a native. You know, all the planets are there. What can we say about the native's education? And this is according to Shri R.G. Rao's Bhrigu Nandi Nadi. Okay? So what can we say about the native's education? Yes, friends, what do we know? That in Nadi Jyotish, who is the significator of education? The planet Mercury. Yes. So let us see in which condition Mercury is, and what kind of promise the native can expect in the field of education. Okay, so let's go to the chart. So friends, you can see that Mercury is in the 7th house with Saturn. Okay, now we have to see that Jupiter is the significator of the native. How the native will come in contact with Mercury or Mercury's influence or aspect. How will that happen? So as you know, friends, that as Jupiter progresses, from one sign to another, Jupiter will definitely come into contact with Mercury. In some way or the other will establish contact, and things related to education will fructify, will happen in the life of the native. Okay? Now, Jupiter's progression, the natal Jupiter's progression, events are seen from that progression in Bhrigu Nandi Nadi. Okay? So let us see. Now friends, you can see that the first round Jupiter will complete, I told you, in 12 years. Jupiter stays in one sign for 1 year. So 12 zodiac signs will be covered in 12 years. And in the first round of 12 years, Jupiter will give the results related to the first house. First house means the native's health, okay, the native's mainly personality, but up to 12 years, this is only the first round. So we can say that it is more or less, it will be related to the physical development of the child. Up to 12 years we cannot say that by 12 years generally a child does not make very serious decisions, yes, regarding education and other aspects of life. Okay, so first 12 years, that is mainly the development of the physical body, and also also the mind, thinking ability, reasoning ability, these things also develop in the first 12 years. Okay, the foundation is laid in the first 12 years, no doubt, of the personality of the child. So we believe that in Nadi Jyotish, we believe that wherever Jupiter is seated, that we should consider that only to be the first house. That is one way of looking at the chart. Now, the second house from Jupiter is in the sign of Aquarius. So after 12 years, after the first round, then the second round of Jupiter will start. And then Jupiter will give results related to the second house. Second house, friends, is the house of speech. Yes, the house of speech, the house of family. Then it is also the house of your accumulated wealth and all, second house. Now, second house is speech. That means when Jupiter will, go for its second round, another 12 years. So by that time, that is the native, after completing 12 years, what will be his age? 24 years. That means in the second round only the native will make some decision definitely regarding his education. Obviously, that's what we do. After the age of 12, as a native grows, board examination, then you have to decide what kind of stream you want to choose. what kind of professional course, or maybe you can go for general course. So usually such decisions are made in the second round of Jupiter will be made. That is, by 24 years, definitely he will make such decisions. So we will now look at what results Mercury will give in the second round of Jupiter's progression. Okay, so the first round Jupiter started from Capricorn and then it completed in Sagittarius. First round 12 zodiac signs. Second round 13th year, when the native will be 13 years old, then again the native, here he will complete again till here 12 years completed, then again 13 years, then you go up 14 years, then 15 years, 16 years. So 13, 14, 15. At the age of 15 years, you can see, friends, that Venus will directly aspect Jupiter when Jupiter reaches the house of Pisces, the house that is ruled by Pisces. So Venus will aspect. But Venus, we were talking about Mercury. Now friends, look carefully. Mercury and Venus, they have exchanged signs. There is a Parivartan Yoga. That is, there is a mutual exchange between Mercury and Venus. Because Mercury is in Libra, the sign of Venus, and Venus is in Virgo, the sign of Mercury. So there is a mutual exchange between these two planets. So we can also say that Venus, where Venus is seated, Venus also has the power to behave like Mercury. And that is why from there you can say in a way that Mercury is only aspecting Jupiter that has reached the house of Pisces. So at the age of 15 years, Mercury's aspect will fall. That also, friends, what kind of Mercury? Mercury will be in Virgo. In this house you can see Mercury is in Virgo. That is the sign of exaltation of Mercury. So the native at the age of 15 years got very good results related to education. I think he appeared in his board examination and he did very well. Yes, because the exalted Mercury's aspect had fallen on Jupiter. Jupiter is the native. Then let us go to the house of Aries, the first house. Then when he will reach Aries, then native will be 16 years old. Okay. Now, there you see what will happen. There also, we can say that one Mercury, the actual Mercury that was sitting in the chart only in the sign of Libra, Mercury's aspect will fall when Jupiter will reach Aries. But there is a certain problem. What problem is there? Mars is there. Mars is Mercury's enemy. Yes. Even here also, friends, when Mars is retrograde, so Mars will also be there in this 12th in the 12th house also you can say that Mars will be there. But Mars could not harm when the native reached Aries. Mars could not harm. When the native had reached Pisces, then also Mars, because Mars and Mercury are enemies. But Mars could not do any harm. Can you say why? Because the natal Jupiter is aspecting, you can see, the 9th aspect of Jupiter is falling on Venus, that is in the 6th house. Jupiter's 9th aspect is falling on Venus. But Venus also has the power to behave like Mercury. So whenever that Mercury's aspect will fall, that also exalted Mercury's aspect is falling on the house of Pisces, on the 12th house, then it could not harm when the native Jupiter reached the house of Pisces. Mars could not harm because retrograde Mars will be there also in Pisces. But because Jupiter's aspect, Jupiter is a benefic, Jupiter's beneficial aspect was already there on Venus, and Venus was behaving like Mercury, so it could not harm the native. Also friends, when the native reaches the house of Aries in the first house, there also retrograde Mars is waiting, and you know that retrograde Mars is so powerful. Yes friends, but there also Mars could not do any harm, could not harm him in his educational sphere at all. Why? In his matter of education, because Mars and Mercury enemies, but Mars could not cause any harm. Why? Also friends, you can see that Saturn and Mercury, they are friends, great friends. Saturn is exalted. Mercury is also in the sign of a friend, in the sign of Venus. Venus and Mercury are also, you can say that in a way they are also friends. Now, and Mercury is also now will be considered to be exalted, because why? Because Mercury and Venus, there is an exchange. So these two planets are aspecting the retrograde Mars, and not only two planets, even you can say that the natal Jupiter's 9th aspect was falling on Venus. So Venus is behaving like Mercury also. So Mercury, so you can say now that Mercury also has even you can say that this Mercury that is sitting in the 7th house, this Mercury also has the power to behave like Venus. Yes, and Venus has the aspect of, has the 9th aspect of Jupiter. So now in the 7th house, actually there is Saturn, Mercury, and also Venus's presence will be there, and Venus already has the aspect of Jupiter. So Venus, Mercury, they have exchanged signs, so they can behave like each other. So now all these three planets, and also Venus is a friend to Saturn and Mercury. Together all three of them are now aspecting retrograde Mars in the first house also. So that is why Mars could not harm the native at all, and there was no obstacles in the path of education. The native did very well, and he could do very well in his education. Now friends, what stream, what was his choice of subject? What can we say? Now friends, we can say that Mars is directly aspecting. Mars could not harm, but now Mars is aspecting also Mercury seated in the 7th house. Yes, and Saturn is also there. So Saturn and Mars, they are very important planets for any kind of engineering studies. When Saturn and Mars, they establish a strong connection with Mercury, then the native will definitely, there is a very strong possibility that he will study engineering. So this particular native, he studied engineering. He studied in an engineering college, and he acquired a degree in engineering. And also friends, you can say that at the age of 16, Jupiter reached Aries. At the age of 21, you go down, go forward, and you will see at the age of 21, Jupiter has reached this house. That is the house of Virgo, house ruled by Virgo, and exchange is there. So Venus is also now behaving like Mercury, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So when Jupiter actually reached this house, this 6th house, Jupiter is the native, actually reached this house at the age of 21 years. Then also the native did very well in education. He excelled. So maybe he secured very good results even in some engineering examination that he was, that he had undertaken. So he got very good results at the age of 21 years also. So friends, this is how we can, decode facts about a native's education using principles of Bhrigu Nandi Nadi. Hope you liked it. Do subscribe to my channel and do share this video. Thank you so much.